Hello and welcome to Talking Rotary, our monthly newsletter bringing you the latest from Winchester Rotary and ways in which you can get involved. This month we're looking at our Magnificent Meadows project. But first, here's Nick Bell with an update on how our Watercress Way Walk went in May.
We held the third Watercress Way Walk for Rotary on Sunday the 31st of May, which turned out to be an absolutely perfect day for a walk. Having just sustained a heat wave, the temperature fortunately dropped 2 or 3 days beforehand, and we had a cool 21 or so degrees, dry, no rain, actually perfect walking conditions. And as a consequence of that, I think the majority of the registered walkers turned up on the day at the King Charles Public House, where we had the Mayor set the walkers off on their 14-kilometre route. The majority of the walkers completed the full walk from the King Charles back to the King Charles along the Watercress Way. We had half a dozen or so, I think, that stopped at the halfway point, which was the plough in Itchen Abbas. So all in all, a very successful day, we felt. Everybody said they enjoyed it, and we only had the odd one or two that got lost on the day. We believe that we've raised about £1,500. The exact figure will be known once all the sponsorship money is in from the individuals who participated in the walk. Thanks should go out to Beyond Personal Gym, who sponsored the event, but also who provided about a third of the walkers.
On the 5th of June, we hosted a presentation evening at the Winchester Science Centre and Planetarium on the subject of Anti Microbial Resistance, or how to stop the next pandemic. Jill Russell is one of the event organisers, and I asked her how the evening went.
It's been a very successful evening. We've had two amazing presentations from Professor Cordo Said and Danny Chambers, our local MP, both extremely expert in their fields, and we've had a very lively Q&A to follow.
It's a fundraising event. Is it successful from that point of view as well?
We don't know the end result, but we're fundraising for End Polio now, and the signs are that we do hope to have made a reasonable amount from this evening's event.
I then spoke with Danny Chambers and asked him how important this subject is.
I think it's really important because antimicrobial resistance and risk of future pandemics are two of the single biggest public health issues facing civilization at the moment. And if we're not prepared for them, we could have a disease that was even more devastating than COVID. So this isn't a hypothetical future problem. We've already got over 1 million people a year dying from antimicrobial resistance. It's predicted to be 39 million a year by 2040. So we need to be taking action now before it becomes something that is affecting everyone.
What do you think chances are of effective action being taken?
There is a good chance of effective action being taken if politicians listen to the scientists and also look at the economic case for early treatment. These, when they turn into a crisis, it costs the economy a lot more. Like the COVID pandemic was a really good one. It cost us billions. If you nip these things in the bud and you address them early on when they're small, it's much more cost effective than it is to wait until there is a crisis and then have to try and be firefighting. So it's not only better for individuals and public health, it's actually better for the economy to be looking at these things. So part of my job as an MP is to make sure we drive this up the political and media agenda.
Rotary internationally is very busy, I suppose, with ending polio. Do you have any comments about the role of Rotary and the role of government in ending polio?
I think it is one of the best achievements we can do as a human civilization is to eradicate diseases completely, because once they're gone you can completely forget about them and they don't even cost any more money and they don't take any more lives and they don't cause any more disabilities. We are so close to eradicating polio. There's only a handful of cases left every year, and it is a real travesty if we take our foot off the gas now and withdraw funding and allow that to start spreading again. Even if you don't care about lives saved, it is cheaper to eradicate this now than it is to let it start spreading around the world again and then having to vaccinate everyone again and treat all the diseases that are caused by get people getting unnecessary infections.
Once wildflower meadows were the patchwork quilt of our countryside, stretching as far as the eye could see, but today we've lost over 97% of them. And this matters because the loss of these meadows reduces biodiversity and can increase the risk of flooding. But here in Hampshire, a quiet revolution is taking root. The Magnificent Meadows project is not just about going back into the past. It's also about seeding a future where nature and community can breathe together. Here's Mark Butcher to tell us more.
So this is all about the Magnificent Meadows project, where we're working in collaboration with the Campaign for Rural England, or also known as CPRE, and a lady called Rachel Remnant, who used to be an employee of the local Wildlife Trust. And it's all about restoring and managing into the future wild meadows, particularly on the chalk downlands. I mean, as you've said in your introduction, the country has lost 97% of these type of meadows, so there's only 3% left. And chalk downland meadows are even a smaller proportion of that, and obviously that's what we're surrounded by here in Winchester. The initial part of the project is actually to remove the kind of plants that you don't want, so things like brambles and hawthorn and that kind of thing, because they block out the light, they prevent the plants that you really want in the meadows from growing. And then obviously you need to seed with the right kind of seeds for the right kind of plants. So once essentially you've got the ground ready, if you like, it's then a matter of letting nature take its course, let the plants do what they do naturally and grow. But then you need to start managing them. And 3 times a year, what you have to do is cut them down, because part of the point here is you'll get different plants thrive at different times of the year. So by having this 3 stages of mowing, then what you're doing is effectively giving the first tranche their opportunity, then letting the next set have their opportunity, and so on through the season. By mowing, I must be very clear, I'm not talking about using electric mowers here or sit-on mowers or anything like that. We are talking about using scythes. And the reason for that is the electric mowers and everything, they cause a lot of damage to the plant. So it's very, very important that it's cut in the right way. That to some extent is quite weather dependent. You do need to do it when there's moisture in the air. So good times are early in the morning where there's a bit of dew around, and in the evening as kind of dew is starting to settle on the plants, where you don't do scything in the middle of a very, very hot, dry day. It's the worst kind of time to do it. And then following that, the cuttings are kind of drawn together, but they're allowed to dry. Part of the point of that is when you're gathering it and turning it into hay, there isn't moisture in there, which can cause things to rot. But it also means it gives the plants an opportunity to release their seeds. So those seeds are going back into that ground, although sometimes we do collect them as part of the project as well, because we can take them from there and put them into other meadows as more areas are identified. And then the final stage is once the hay is dry enough, then it gets baled. And those hay bales are given to people in the local area. So I think it's King Edward's Fields, there's allotments there where some people keep animals like sheep. And this hay is absolutely amazing for the sheep. So in terms of what people can do, you can do the scything. You do need to go on a course to do that. And as part of the project each year, a number of free courses are run by the lady I mentioned, Rachel. She's an expert, kind of a worldwide expert in this kind of thing. That's a 1-day course. Outside of those ones, she does run other courses as well, but it is part of her business, and she charges about £90 for the day for those. But I can thoroughly recommend that. It's really, really enjoyable, a lot to learn. If you're going to go down that route, that might be a major cost that you would incur. But if you can get one of the free courses, obviously that doesn't apply. So that's one of the roles you can fulfil. Another one is the gathering together the hay after it's cut, putting it into these piles, letting it dry, and it has to be turned every couple of days as well. And then the final area where people can help is with the baling at the end. So there's 3 distinct tasks, one of which you do need really detailed training for. The others, it's quite basic training that you need.
In the introduction, I said about Good for biodiversity, that's clear, and you've made that clear. But I also said it helps with flooding or not flooding. How does that work?
Indeed, yes. So fundamentally, by enabling the right plants to grow, what they do is build up the soil over time. So as each year the plants die down. I mean, obviously we take a lot away with the hay, but we do leave quite a bit there as well. And particularly right at the end of the season, after the third cut, it's left. So what's left there dies down, rots down into the soil, building up the soil. So gradually over time, I mean, if you think about it, like you look at Roman ruins, and how can they be 3 feet below the surface? Well, that's basically because plants over time have built up dirt, mud, the soil, and that's exactly what's happening. And the more soil that's building up, it's sequestering carbon from the atmosphere, because they've taken that carbon out of the atmosphere, turned it into the plant, and now it's rotted down into soil. But that bigger soil mass is now able to absorb and hold more water. And that's fundamentally how it can help prevent flooding.
What is Rotary's role in this project?
Okay, so there's 2 parts to this. So one is providing funding, and part of that funding helps pay for things like the scything courses and such like that. But the other part of it is actually getting physically involved, either ourselves as members or pulling in volunteers to get involved as well. So what we're looking to do with members of the public is help signpost people to these events when they're happening. It is a bit weather dependent, so I can't say to you right now, well, it's on this date, this time, because a bit depending on how fast the plants have grown, and then what's the weather like here, is it suitable for cutting or not? You have to be a bit flexible with it.
So can people kind of sign up to an emailing list or something? Yes,
you can. So we have a link on our website. So it's winchester-rotary.org/Magnificent Meadows. If you follow that link, it will actually take you through to the site on the CPRE website where you can sign up. So either register for the education if you want to do scything, you've got to do the course first. Or you can go straight for, just want to get involved in the haymaking or the baling.
Why would people want to get involved?
Well, multiple reasons. Firstly, obviously, if you care about the environment, then it's a superb thing to do. It's great exercise. You get to meet like-minded people. You can only do it in certain weather conditions. You're generally going to be outside when the weather's nice, so it's like you won't be able to do it when it's pouring with rain.
To get involved with the Magnificent Meadows project, visit our website by searching for Winchester Rotary UK and following the links. And that's it for this month. You can find information about all of our current Rotary projects on our website. Simply search Winchester Rotary UK and follow the links. If you're listening on Catch Up, remember to click on the follow button so that you never miss a future episode. In July, we'll be looking at our preparations for the Clarendon Marathon, including ways in which you can get involved, either as a volunteer or as a runner. But until then, this is Steve Feeney for Winchester Rotary saying goodbye.